If you've just picked up the Action 6 or you're thinking about it, you've come to the right place. In this beginner's guide for the DJI Osmo Action 6, I'm going to take you through all the steps you need to get your camera all set up and get out there and start filming with it. I've been making videos and writing books about these action cameras since they first came out. So in this video, I'm going to share all of my favorite tips and tricks for the Action 6 with you guys so you can have the inside scoop. Along the way, I'm also going to show you a lot of beautiful clips taken with the Action 6 so you can see the potential of what this camera is capable of. So let's get started with the DJI Osmo Action 6. First, let's just get your camera unboxed so you can see what comes in the kit for the Action 6. And there are a few different combos available. I have the Adventure combo here, but don't worry if you got the Standard or the Essentials bundle, I'll also show you what comes in those kits. First, just go ahead and open up the box. You can rip the little tab right here to open it and then open this flap right here. And you'll see inside there's two boxes. You've got the accessories and the Action 6 camera. You can just pull those out. Also, underneath the boxes in the Adventure combo, you have the extension rod, so you can pull that out too. And then just take all of the accessories and the camera out of the box and you can remove them all from the plastic packaging. Also, remove the stickers from the Action 6 camera. There's one on the front lens and one on each of the side doors. These are all of the accessories that come in the Adventure combo. On the left here, you have the triple battery charging case with 3 batteries inside of it, as well as a USB-C charging cable. In the middle here, obviously you have the Action 6 camera. And on the right side here, you have some of the mounting accessories. You have 2 quick release mounts, 2 thumb screws, and a curved adhesive base, as well as that 1.5 meter extension pole. I'll show you these accessories over here when I talk about mounting your Action 6 later in this video. If you bought the Standard combo, it just comes with a single battery, a USB-C cable, 1 quick release mount, and a thumb screw, as well as that curved adhesive mount. And then the Essentials combo comes with the same thing, they just removed the curved adhesive mount. Now that you've got your camera unboxed, I just want to share some of the key features of the Action 6, just so you can be excited and see the potential of this camera. First of all, the Action 6 is slightly larger than the previous Action 5 Pro. The Action 6 has a larger sensor than the Action 5 Pro. It's a 1/1.1 inch sensor. It's also a square sensor, so it gives you a little bit more flexibility when you go to film. And I'll talk about that more when we go through the camera tour and I show you some of the settings. But basically, you can record one video and pull out a horizontal shot or a vertical shot out of the same video. That's gonna be really convenient for a lot of you guys. The Action 6 is also the first action camera that has a variable aperture. The aperture is the opening that lets the light into the camera, and it's usually fixed on an action camera. But on the Action 6, it's a variable aperture, so it can be adjusted. This is gonna give you a different look in some of your shots, such as a larger depth of field, and also a starburst effect, which looks really cool and cinematic. The Action 6 also has an add-on macro lens you can add for super close-up shots, and with that 2.0 aperture, you can get a really blurred out background, which looks nice for those macro shots. That larger sensor is great for low light shots, and they have a dedicated night video mode that you're gonna really love. Plus, the camera just functions like a rock. It's really solid, it's got quick charging, long battery life, and it just works really well. So I'll share this and all of these other features as we go through this video. So now let's get your camera set up so it's ready to use. Also, before we set up that camera, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for more videos about the Action 6 and all of the other great action cameras that are on the market. Now let's get your camera set up so it's ready to use. The first thing we need to do is charge the battery and insert a microSD card if you're going to use one. The Action 6 does come with 50 gigabytes of internal storage, so you can record on the internal storage. But if you'd like to add a microSD card, we're going to insert one right now. A microSD card just expands the amount of storage you have on your camera so you can record longer without having to download your footage. If you do decide to pick up a microSD card, I'll put a link to some compatible and recommended microSD cards for the Action 6 in the video description below. If you bought the Adventure combo, you're going to charge the batteries inside this triple battery charging case, just by connecting a USB-C cable to the case and also to a power source. When the batteries are ready to use, you'll see a green light and you can pull out a battery so we can insert it into the camera. If you bought one of the other combos, you're just gonna charge the battery straight in the camera. So go ahead and grab a battery and the USB-C cable. The battery and microSD card go in the door here on this side of the camera, and all you need to do to open that door is slide it over and push up. And that door will open just like that, and then you can slide it down. The microSD card goes into this little slot right here. So take the microSD card with the text facing the back of the camera, just like that, and slide it into that slot. And you want to just push it down with your fingernail so it clicks into place. It should be flush with this ledge right here. And then take the battery just like this and insert it into the battery compartment on the Action 6. Now that your battery and microSD card are inserted, you can just shut this side door completely. So push it up and then slide it back down into place. You should hear it click and it should look just like that. You shouldn't see any red there. That means the door is completely closed. If you are charging the battery in the camera, the door for the USB-C port is over here. So just slide this little tab over and pull the door down, and it opens just like that. And then insert the USB-C cable into that port right there, and then plug the other end into a power source such as a computer or a wall charger. Once the battery is charging, you'll see a percentage on the back of the camera just like this that tells you the battery life. charge the battery till it's 100% full, and then you can remove the USB-C cable from the camera and close this side door completely so that it's nice and secure. You want to make sure these doors are closed to keep the water out of your camera and keep it waterproof, just like this. Now we just need to go through a few more setup items to get your camera ready to use. So press the button right here on the side of the camera and that'll power your camera on. Both of the screens are touch screens, but the back screen is going to be active first. So use the back screen to select your language. You can scroll up or down to select your language and then tap it. Because I put a microSD card in the camera, it's asking if I want to switch to the microSD card as my storage. So I'm just going to tap on confirm, and it'll save the files on that microSD card. Now it's going to prompt you to connect to the DJI Mimo app. We're going to use this to update the camera's firmware and also activate your camera. On iOS, you can download the DJI Mimo app from the App Store. And if you're on Google Play, you need to go on DJI's website to download the app. Once you have the app downloaded, just open it up, and it's going to prompt you to connect to your camera. You can press pause on this video and follow the prompts on the DJI Mimo app to connect your camera. It's going to activate your camera, and it's also going to update the camera's firmware. So it's going to download it to the DJI Mimo app and then transfer it over to your camera and update the firmware. That's just going to ensure that your camera has the latest features and is up to date. It'll take a few minutes to update the camera's firmware, and once the camera's firmware is updated, the camera will power back on. You can close out of the DJI Mimo app. I'll show you around that in a little bit. And let's take a tour around the Action 6 camera. First, I'll just show you the physical camera body. On the front of the camera right here, you have this lens cover, which is removable and replaceable. That keeps your camera waterproof. It's got a nice flat surface for filming underwater. You can also replace it with the macro lens or the FOV boost lens, which is a super wide angle lens. This is the front touchscreen. There's also the rear touchscreen here. This here is a color temperature sensor, and the Action 6 has 3 microphones. There's one here and 2 on the top of the camera. On the side of the camera, we have the door that I already showed you. On the back of the camera is just the touchscreen, which I'm going to give you a tour of. And on this side of the camera, you've got the door for the USB-C port, as well as the power and the quick switch button. So you can power your camera on and off by using that button. You can also change through different presets using this button here. On the top of the camera, you have the shutter button, which is used to start and stop recording, as well as those microphones, which I showed you. On the bottom of the camera, you have this little latching mechanism and a magnet, which is used for mounting the Action 6, as well as a speaker here, which is used when you're playing back your videos. Now let's make sure your camera is powered on. I want to give you guys a tour around the touchscreens. So if your camera is not already powered on, press the power button here on the side of the camera, and your camera will power on. Like I mentioned before, the Action 6 has 2 touchscreens, one on the front of the camera and one on the back. Both of them have touch functionality, and you can preview your videos at the same time on both screens. However, only one of the screens will be active to touch at a time. If you want to switch to the other screen, all you need to do is tap on it and then swipe up to unlock. And then that screen is going to become the active screen and the other one will be locked. But right now I'm going to show you guys on the back screen because it's a larger screen, it's just easier to view. The first time you turn the camera on, it's going to give you a menu tour. So you need to just go through the prompts that they're asking you to do just to get through this tour. But I'm going to show you these also as we go through this video. So you can quickly go through these by following what it's saying to do. This touchscreen on the back of the camera is what you use to change all of the camera's modes and settings. There are a lot of powerful features within the Action 6, and this is how you access them. First, let me show you what's displayed on the screen here. At the top right corner, you have the battery icon. It shows how much battery life is remaining on your camera. Over here, you've got the remaining storage on either your SD card or the camera's internal storage. And that's at the current settings that are chosen right here on your camera. This icon here is used to play back the photos and videos that you've recorded. This icon down here determines your mode, so you can tap on that to switch between the different modes. Then swipe sideways to go between those modes. You can also just swipe from the middle of the screen, and that's going to be another way to access the modes on the camera. But I'm going to go back to video mode right now. Down here displays the current settings for the mode that you're in. You can either tap on that to open up the settings, or you can also swipe up from the bottom of the screen, and that'll bring up the same dialog. And over here is a touch zoom feature, so if you want to zoom in 2 times for your shots, all you need to do is double tap on that, and it'll zoom in. Double tap, and it'll zoom back out. And then over here are some more key settings for the current mode that you're in. I'll go through those in just a minute. Swiping down from the top of the screen gives you access to the general camera settings and also your storage. Then you can swipe back up to get out of that menu. There are a lot of great modes you can use on the Action 6. First, I'm just going to talk about video mode because that's the main mode that you'll use to record regular videos. Let's open up the setting dialog to take a look at the settings available for video mode. This icon displays a few different video recording options. So if you tap on that, you'll see video, which is the main mode that you'll probably use most of the time. If you want the videos to record a loop of video before you start recording, and then once you start recording, it'll keep that loop beforehand, you can use this pre-recording. And you can determine the amount of time you want it to record. It's going to continuously record, so it does use more battery life when you use that. And then there's also loop recording, where you can record a loop of video that's going to overwrite itself after a certain specified amount of time. And that's great for something like a dash cam, where you just want to record continuously. Once you actually get something, you'll stop recording and save that last recorded loop. But I'm going to go back to regular video right now. The setting here in the middle of the screen where it says resolution is basically the size of your recorded video. And it can go from 1080 all the way up to 4K. The number after it is the aspect ratio, which is the shape of your video. And you'll see there's 16:9 or 4:3 aspect ratio. A 16:9 is a traditional widescreen aspect ratio like you see on YouTube. 4:3 is a little bit of a taller frame. That's great for recording POV shots, for example, when your camera's mounted really close to you and you just want to get more of the frame in the shot. There's also some other aspect ratio options right here if you tap on this little icon, and this is going to give you some different options. So you've got a custom aspect ratio, which is a new one here on the Action 6. And this is one of the advantages of the square sensor on the Action 6. It actually allows you to record a video using that full square sensor. And then when you go to edit, you can either pull out a 16:9 widescreen video, or you can pull out a vertical video that's a 9:16 video. This is a great feature if you're recording to different social media, such as YouTube and Instagram. You can really get a lot of different shape videos out of one video clip. And then you've also got some other ones like default, which will just rotate with the camera, portrait, which is your vertical video, or landscape, which is a horizontal 16:9 video. I'm just gonna put it on default right now and go back to the main screen. In the bottom row down here, this setting determines how slow you can play your videos back. So it's a different frame rate. And if you record at a higher frame rate, it goes up to 120 frames per second, which allows you to play your videos back in up to 5 times slow motion. So if you want some really slow motion action shots, that's a great setting to go with. But for your regular shots, you're probably gonna go more with a 60 frames per second, since you don't need that super slow motion most of the time. And on the top right here, you have some stabilization and field of view options. So if you tap on that, you'll see the different stabilization options. This is gonna give you some nice smooth videos, even when you're out there and your camera's moving around. It's gonna balance that for you. You've got Rock Steady and Rock Steady Plus, which are the different types of stabilization. And you've also got Horizon Balancing and Horizon Steady. Horizon Steady is really great because if you rotate your camera all the way around, it's gonna keep that horizon straight, even though your camera is rotating. Horizon Balancing is just gonna do it to a little less extreme. So if your camera goes beyond a certain point, the video is also then gonna rotate. And then over here, you have the different fields of view. But with Horizon Balancing and Horizon Steady, they're not all available. So I'm just gonna go to Rock Steady right here, which is the regular stabilization. And now you have different fields of view available that are gonna affect the look of your shot. So you'll see if you go from standard, it's kind of a closer look, down to natural wide, it's gonna go a little bit wider. A wide field of view is gonna have some fisheye curvature in the lens. And then ultra wide is gonna pull back a little bit more, so you see more as the edge of your frame in your shot. I'm just gonna go to that standard dewarp lens for right now, and then back to the main settings. This is a great beginner setting to start with. If you wanna just get out there and start recording, you can record in that 4K at 16:9 with 60 frames per second. It'll allow you to play your videos back in slow motion up to 2.5 times. When you're done selecting those settings, you can swipe out of the main screen here, and you can open up these custom parameters over here. These are some more settings that you can use to affect the look of your videos. There's the basic options here, which give you a little bit more automated settings. This setting is a quality priority. If you don't mind the camera getting a little bit hotter and using more battery life, you can use that to get the highest quality videos. There's also a fun little feature in here called film tones, and you can choose some different film tones for your videos. It's just gonna overlay a filter basically onto your videos, and you can determine how much you want that filter applied to your video. So there's a natural look, there's vibrant colors. There's just a bunch of different options here. You can play around with those to get some cool looks. I'm just gonna go back to the regular video for now and go back to this main screen. Then this is where you can adjust the aperture. The aperture is that opening that lets light into your camera. This aperture can be adjusted. You can use either an auto setting, or you can manually set the aperture on your camera. A lower number, like f2, is gonna have a shorter depth of field, so less is gonna be in focus up close. Everything in the background will be in focus, no matter what. F4 is gonna give you a larger depth of field, so things close and far will be more in focus. And also, if you set it to F4 manually, you can get this really cool starburst effect. It'll make some points come off of the sun, and it looks really cinematic when you do that. I'm just gonna go down to the auto settings for now, which is what you should start with. You can also tap right here and go to the pro settings, which is gonna give you more options, such as D-Log M color. This is gonna be a flat color profile that you're gonna need to go in and adjust when you go to edit. But if you wanna have the most control over your videos, you can use that. But if you're just starting out, I recommend you just go with normal 10-bit color. There's also some audio settings here. If you just tap on that, it'll show you some different audio settings, such as wind noise reduction. You can turn that off or set it up to a high wind noise reduction. Just gonna go back to the main recording screen. You can also always press this side button here to go out of the main screens back to the main recording screen. Once you're done with your settings, you can just press the shutter button up here to start recording a video. You'll see the time here displays the amount of video recorded. And when you're done recording, press the shutter button again. The video will stop recording and save it to your camera's storage. Now that I showed you video mode, let's take a look at some of the other settings available on the Action 6. So if you swipe from the middle of the screen, if you go this way, it's going to go over to photo mode, where you can take a single photo. That's just going to be a regular, traditional photo that can be taken up to 38 megapixel. If you swipe the other direction, past video mode, you can get over to super night mode. This is the low light video recording mode on the Action 6, and it's got some great settings here. You can record in up to 4K video at 30 or 60 frames per second. This takes advantage of that larger sensor on the Action 6 to get some really nice shots in those low light scenes, such as at sunset or night in the city. I feel like it's really useful to have this low light mode on the Action 6, and it does a great job of really enhancing those scenes. The next mode over is a portrait mode. If you tap over here in the field of view and stabilization, you can see that there's a flat profile available. That's going to be really good for your portrait shots, just to make your subjects look realistic without too much warping on them. This mode is primarily here for vlogging, so you can get nice, realistic shots of people. The next mode over is subject tracking, and this is a really fun one too, because you can just start recording a video and the camera will follow your subject around the screen, which makes it seem like the camera is actually panning and moving around even though it's taken from a stationary shot. Then you've got a slow motion mode, which doesn't record any audio or have stabilization, but you can use it to get the really high speed video settings, and it's the same basically settings as video mode, but it just doesn't have stabilization. You can do 4K at 120 frames per second or 1080p at 240 frames per second. This is great when you know you want those slow motion shots and you want to be able to see them in slow motion on your camera. It'll play them back in slow motion. And the last mode over here is the time lapse and hyperlapse modes. So you can record those scenic time lapses, or you can also change the settings over and record hyperlapses, which have stabilization, and you can record them while you're moving around. Both of these modes are going to speed up time, so it's going to make time appear faster than it's actually happening, which is going to give you a really cool effect for your videos. And you can record in both of those up to 4K videos. If you swipe down from the top of the screen, I want to show you some of the other general camera settings. Right here you have custom settings you can add, so you can just create your own favorite settings and save them there. There's also a quick switch option to customize the function of that quick switch button. This is gesture control, which you can use to start and stop recording with a simple hand signal. So that can be pretty convenient in crowded areas, or when you can't access your camera, you just want to start it with that gesture. Down here, you can lock the orientation. You've also got a screen lock here, which is great if your camera's in your pocket, or you're going underwater and you don't want those settings to change. There's voice control, so you can start and stop recording with simple commands. And this icon is for some different front screen options, so you can change the look of the screen on the front. This icon opens up some more camera settings. So there's a lot of settings within here, such as changing how the wireless mic is set up. The depth and altitude allows you to change the settings for when you go underwater. It'll actually display how deep you go underwater, or altitude, you can also record that. Then there's also one that you're going to want to change, which is the bitrate. If you want the highest quality videos, you can go down to the bitrate setting and set that to high. High bitrate is just going to give you the most information when your videos are recorded. It's going to give you higher quality videos. Then I'm just going to press the power button to go back to the main recording screen. After you're done recording, to view your media, you just tap on this and it'll show you the most recent file. You can pause or play it here, and you can also scroll up or down to get to other videos that you've recorded. Or you can tap this grid icon and see a thumbnail of all the videos that are currently on your camera stored. When you're done recording, hold down on the power button and the camera will power off. You can also use the DJI Mimo app to control your Action 6 remotely. It basically works as a little remote. All you need to do to connect your camera is make sure that the camera is powered on and tap on this little icon down here, and it should prompt you to connect to your camera. You can just follow the prompts to connect the camera. Once the camera is connected, you can see a view through your camera's lens, and you can change all of the settings on your Action 6 right here on your phone. You can also start and stop recording from the DJI Mimo app and see a live view of what you're recording right here on your phone. The DJI Mimo app is a great way to control your camera, whether it's on your helmet and out of sight, or further away from you and you just can't reach it. Next, I want to talk about some of the mounts and accessories you can use with your Action 6 camera. This is how you're going to get your camera either on a selfie stick or on a mounted position, so you can capture some really unique shots. First, I'm just going to show you some of the basic mounts that most likely came with the kit that you bought. First of all, we have the most important mounting piece, which is this. This is a dual direction quick release mount. And this allows you to actually mount your camera. So it's very important to bring this with you when you're out there filming. So this is the basic mount here. And all you need to do to mount your camera on this is to pop your camera on top of it. And these two little clips will engage with your Action 6 camera. You'll see that it's securely attached here. You can give it a little wiggle to make sure both of those clips are attached securely. And then when you want to release it from this clip, all you need to do is squeeze these tabs and pull up and the camera will come off. And this new design of the mount allows you to mount your camera in either direction. So you can also flip your camera around and mount it just like that, which makes it easy if you want to flip your camera around for another angle. This quick release adapter has these two little mounting fingers on the bottom of it. And that allows you to mount your Action 6 onto a mount that's got 3 prongs like this one, which is the DJI Action pole. So all you need to do then is just slide your camera in between those grooves, then just put in a thumb screw and tighten it into place. You can adjust the angle of your camera before you tighten it really securely, and then your camera is locked into place and it's in a nice, secure position. A pole like this one is a great accessory to have because you can mount your camera, and then you can rotate the angle and you can pull it out to get a nice selfie angle, or you can also get an angle looking at other people or scenery and just point your camera in any orientation. The other mount that comes in some of the kits is this curved adhesive mount. And all you need to do to use this is to remove the red liner and stick it onto a smooth, non-porous surface. This is a great mount to put on a helmet, for example. And then if you place the quick release mount on here, you can just pull your camera off your other mount, pop it right onto here, and you're ready to film. So it's really easy to switch your camera between mounts using this quick release adapter. So with that new custom 4K mode, there's no need to really mount your camera vertically. So they did away with the frame that used to hold the camera and allow you to mount it vertically. Now just change your aspect ratio right there in the camera, and that's gonna give you those vertical videos. Some mounts like this hand strap already have an adapter on there. So all you need to do is remove your camera from the other mount, pop it right on there, give it a little wiggle to make sure it's secure, and you're good to go film. And this one just goes on your hand like a little hand strap. The Action 6 is waterproof just like this. You can go down to 20 meters with your camera like this, as long as these side doors are closed. However, if you are going in the water, you should use a floating handle because the camera doesn't float, and if you drop it, it's gonna sink. So you've got this DJI floating handle, which is nice. Then if you drop your camera in the water, it's gonna float and you can find it. If you are going deeper or you're scuba diving, I recommend using the dive case for the Action 6, and that's gonna allow you to go deeper with your camera and just keep it nice and safe. Also, when you are going underwater on the Action 6, you can set up those gauges so it'll tell you your depth and how long you're underwater. Also, I just wanna show you guys a few of the great accessories available for the Action 6. One of them is this macro lens, which is really great if you want to get super close to your subjects. This lens will allow you to get a shorter focal distance, so you can focus on objects that are much closer to the camera. And all you need to do to swap it out is just unscrew the main lens that's on there and screw on the macro lens. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then the camera will automatically recognize that the macro lens is on there. When you're using the macro lens, you can shoot with a wide 2.0 aperture and get some nice, really close-up shots with a real blurred out background. You can also use the FOV boost lens for a really wide perspective. It's gonna get a wider perspective than that regular lens. And you can also use ND filters like these ones to get a more cinematic look, get some motion blur in your shots, and make it look really creative. Also, if you wanna step up your audio, the Action 6 is compatible with wireless mics such as this one, which is the DJI Mic 3. You can connect to the mic using the settings right here, and there's a wireless mic setting right here. And then you can actually connect 1 or 2 DJI mics. So if you want 2 separate audio tracks for a conversation, for example, you can do that with the Action 6. There are tons of great ways you can mount your Action 6 to capture really unique angles and unique shots. That's one of the joys of using an action camera like this, is it's small, it's rugged, it's durable, and you can really just capture some unique angles. So I hope you guys have a lot of fun with that. Now that you guys know some of the basics of using your Action 6, go out there and get some video clips of your own. You can use those beginner video settings that I showed you and just go out and film something that you love. When you come back, I'm gonna show you how to transfer your photos and videos over to a phone, tablet, or a computer. Now that you've got some footage on your camera, it's time to transfer those files. The Action 6 records regular videos that can be edited using any video editing app. However, if you are using the DJI Mimo app, there's some extra edits you can do in there to prepare your files. To transfer your photos and videos over to a phone or a tablet, just make sure that your camera is powered on and open up the DJI Mimo app. Then you can just follow the prompts to connect your camera like you did before. Once your camera is connected, just tap on the little album icon at the bottom of the screen, and you can see a thumbnail of all the videos and photos that are on your camera stored. First, you need to download any of the files you want to make changes to or save to your phone or tablet. You can either individually tap on a thumbnail and download the file using the icon here, or you can also select multiple files by tapping on the check mark and tapping whichever files you'd like to download. After you've selected your files, just tap on the download icon and they'll save to your phone. The files might take a minute to download, but once they're downloaded, you can go and you can make some changes to this actual video file. There are a lot of tools you can use right here in the bottom of the DJI Mimo app. You'll see the little toolbar. There's a lot of tools such as trim, filter, or adding color grading to your videos. The DJI Mimo app also has an InvisiStick tool that you can use to remove the stick from your shots, or a Vivid Underwater, which is for color grading those underwater clips. Also, if you recorded using that custom 4K aspect ratio, you can go in and you can change the aspect ratio to any of the other aspect ratios right here in the DJI Mimo app. So if you want to pull out a 16:9 widescreen or a 9:16 vertical video or even a square video, you can do that right here in the DJI Mimo app and then export that file. Then any files that you've exported, you can bring into any other video editor and edit them just like a regular video. If you want to transfer your photos and videos over to a computer, I recommend just plugging it in using that USB-C cable. Power your camera on and it'll give you the option to use it as a USB-C file transfer. Then you can see the camera's internal storage and a microSD card if you used one, and drag those files right over to a folder on your computer. Then you've got them on your computer and they're ready to edit. Well, I hope you guys found that really helpful. I'm excited for you guys with your new camera. So get out there and have some fun with it. And be sure to come back to my channel if you need some more tips and tricks on how to use your action cameras. If you're still considering buying the camera, please buy it through my links in the video description below. And that really just helps out my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.